Welcome to the Natural History Museum interactive map. Tap a location you would like to visit. The United States. Great choice. Please further specify a state. Utah. Excellent. What city or region would you like to learn more about? Cedar City. Great. This interactive presentation will allow you to discover native plants that lived in Cedar City, specifically Fiddler's Canyon, before the Great Pestilence. Founded in 1851, Cedar City has a history of vibrant culture and wildlife. However, following the years of disaster and war, Cedar City, like the rest of the western United States, exists only as a memory and a reminder of the effects of disease and destruction. Still, there is beauty in its ruins and knowledge to be attained from its past. Let's take a look at the kinds of life that once called the Cedar Valley home.
This tree, the Utah juniper, was prized for its seemingly invincibility. However, though it was known to grow in the most inhospitable of dry, hot, and even ice-cold conditions, the Utah juniper could not resist the disease that flooded the West in 2073. In its prime, it withstood drought conditions that would obliterate most other plants. It utilized an extensive root system, which comprised two-thirds of the tree's total mass, with tap roots that could reach 25 feet straight down in search of water. The Utah juniper was a popular tree for both human and other animal inhabitants. Its edible berries were perfect for coyotes, jackrabbits, and a variety of birds. And the tree also had medicinal qualities that helped to cure stomach aches, coughs, and headaches. If only it had the cure for the apocalyptic disease that swept our nation.
Pinyon pine. The pinyon pine was another naturally existing tree on the Colorado Plateau. Its sweet aroma was an icon of the American Southwest, and even just a hint of its fragrance evokes images of soaring mesas and high desert habitations. It grew among rocky slopes, heaps of sagebrush and juniper giants. The pinyon pine served many purposes. The seeds of the pinyon pine were eaten by native peoples, as well as songbirds, quail, squirrels, and even mule deer. Ancestral Puebloans, or Anasazi natives, used the tree for lumber and construction of dwellings. Some more recent inhabitants of the Cedar Valley sought out pinyon pines for traditional celebrations of the Christmas holiday. It was a profitable tree. Pinyon nuts were both delicious and nutritious. High in fats, iron, vitamin A, thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin, pinyon nuts were a highly coveted crop. In fact, before disease struck these desert woodlands, the commercial value of pinyon nuts was rivaled only by pecans among uncultivated nuts in the United States.
Banana yucca. One of the 40 yucca species, the banana yucca, provided subsistence for the ancient Navajo and Apache natives. These native people would use the leaf blades on the plants to weave baskets and the roots as natural soap. Residents of the once thriving town of Cedar City often used the banana yucca in their landscaping designs.
Desert prickly pear. The next important native plant is the desert prickly pear. This cactus is one of few plants that is both a fruit and a vegetable. The plant was known to be used in making different kinds of candy, jelly, and juice. It was the ultimate snack and thirst quencher for adventurers and desert dwellers alike, often enjoyed raw or cooked on the common appliance of the day, the stovetop oven.
Black moss yellow lichen. Up next, the all-important bacteria of the southern Utah. At a glance, these mosses and lichens seem to have been painted on the desert rocks, and although they are commonly referred to as desert varnish and brought beauty to this landscape in an earlier era, these bacteria were more than just a pretty face. The lichen especially acted as barometers for atmospheric pollution. In fact, their vulnerability made them very effective air pollution monitoring stations for the U.S. Forest Service and National Park Service. They usually deteriorate in places that were highly traveled by tourists and polluted by vehicle traffic and other air contaminants.
Rubber rabbit brush. What other plants brought color to the desert lands back in the day? Well, the rubber rabbit brush is worth mentioning. It often grows alongside its sibling species, sagebrush, and could be seen in abundance across the Cedar Valley. It was undesirable to livestock and scavenging species. However, it contained value for the human inhabitants of the Cedar City area. The species name nauseosa refers to the smell given off when the leaves or flowers are crushed, described as pineapple-like by some and foul and rubbery by others. The common name refers to the rubber content in the sap, which varies by subspecies. Rabbit brush was first tested as a source of high-quality rubber during World War II. In the 2010s, there was great interest in its potential for production of rubber resins and other chemicals. Compounds in rubber rabbit brush are rumored to contain anti-malarial properties and natural bases for insect repellents.
Rocky Mountain flax. Other contributors of color to the southwest USA include the Rocky Mountain flax and desert paintbrush. The Rocky Mountain flax typically blooms from May to late August. It thrives best in open or shady places with rocky soil such as cliffs, the slopes of foothills, and other alpine ecosystems. It seems that the flower serves mostly as an ornamental ground cover for tourists.
Desert paintbrush. This plant got its name from a Native American legend. In the legend, a young American Indian wanted to paint the sunset. However, he became frustrated when he could not produce any colors that matched the beauty he saw in the sky. He asked the Great Spirit for help. The Great Spirit provided him with paintbrushes with magnificent colors on them, which he used to create his painting. When done, the young Indian left his used paintbrushes scattered around the landscape. These paintbrushes blossomed into plants and were thus named Indian paintbrushes.